We're just going to wait another minute or two for Councilor Martin. Oh. Oh, I see. Can we all please rise for the prayer? Dear God, today as the session opens, we pray that your presence will be before us and everyone who serves in the decision-making process of our city. We pray for direction which will lead our city to be strong and unified. May we continue the legacy of our founders. May we be granted this day the wisdom to make decisions which will be for the good of our city. We also pray for your special blessing on all those who are working to transform our city and make it a better place to live and work. Amen. Salute the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Would the clerk please call the roll?
Mayor Elliott.
Here.
Counsel Kennedy.
Here.
Counsel Leahy.
Here.
Counsel Martin. Here. Counsel Mercia.
Here.
Counsel Milanazzo.
Here.
Counsel Rourke.
Here.
Counsel Samaras.
Here.
Counsel Belanger.
Here.
9 present.
First order of the business is, under the mayor's section of the agenda, is a citation to the social pup. Sarah, if you could come to the podium, please. I'd like to offer you a citation. We did attend the ribbon cutting, and we congratulate you on opening up a new business in the city of Lowell. And in line with a motion made, we'd like to invite new businesses to the city council and present you with a citation. So on behalf of my colleagues in government here in the council chamber tonight, be it hereby known to all that the city of Lowell and the Commonwealth of Massachusetts hereby welcomes the Social Pup and its new owner, Sarah Quigley, as a new business to make its home at 34 Jackson Street. The city is honored that after years of working as a part-time veterinary assistant and then a veterinary technician, your dream has come to life here in the city of Lowell. The entire city of Lowell extends its deepest wishes to the Social Pup for success with your new business as you offer dog grooming, dog daycare, and a multitude of other dog care services. Given on this 13th day of May, 2014, by myself, on behalf of all of my colleagues in government, we congratulate you and your family. Did you want to say a few words? Here's your chance for a little advertisement.
Okay, thank you, Mayor Elliott, and thank you, city councilors, for having me and for letting me open my business in Lowell. I'm very excited and want to thank the city again for all of the support that I've gotten and all of the help that I've gotten from pretty much every branch here with questions, and I've been bothersome, so I apologize for that, but thank you. And I look forward to being in Lowell. I look forward to growing my business in Lowell. I was born here and raised here, so I'm happy to be the third generation of my family to have a business downtown. So thank you, and everybody with a dog or cat, come visit us at the Social Pup.
Great.
Thank you.
Very good. Congratulations. This item did not make the agenda, but Saturday night there was an opening of a new business, a little bit of a different type of business. So if there's no objection, I'd like to offer them a citation. Motion to suspend by Councilor Mercia, second by Councilor O'Rourke. All those in favor signify by saying aye. And the opposed, motion carries. This citation, Mr. Andre, if you'd, and Mr. Melican. Saturday night was the first opening game for the Greater Lowell United Football Club, semi-professional football club here in the city of Lowell. And it was a wonderful night, and as a result, we'd like to offer you a citation and welcome you to the City Council chambers as a new business in the city of Lowell as well. Be it hereby known to all that the city of Lowell and the Commonwealth of Massachusetts hereby welcomes the Greater Lowell United Football Club and its co-founders, Manny Andre and Patrick Tim Melican, as a new soccer club to make its home in the city of Lowell. The city of Lowell is honored that the Greater Lowell United Football Club will be inaugurating their first match of the season at Colley Stadium. We would like to commend you for your integrity, passion, and dedication you have for your club and for the game of soccer. The entire city of Lowell wishes the club success in its future matches, as well as success in increasing local interest in soccer. The city hopes to grow with the GLUFC in the years to come. Given on this 13th day of May 2014 by myself on behalf of all my colleagues in government. Congratulations and great work.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Tell the speaker. We have a scarf for Mayor Elliott in the City Council. It says our slogan, which is Be Greater, Be United, which we incorporate all of Greater Lowell, and especially the City of Lowell, and we appreciate you councilors and you, Mayor Elliott, for having us in this great city. You've been very helpful to us and growing this business. We hope to have many, many, many more years here, hopefully for a lifetime. Thank you so much. You guys can come check us out. Our next home game is at Colley Stadium on May 25th against the New York Red Bulls under-23s. You can get tickets at the gate, or you can get tickets online at glufc.com. Thank you guys so much for everything. You're very helpful.
Great. Thank you very much. Councilor Leahy?
Thank you, Your Honor. I'd like to offer a moment of silence. I'd like to offer a moment of silence for John Collin IV, a lifelong resident of Lowell. He would have celebrated his 21st anniversary with his wife, Laurie. She's employed at the Shaughnessy School. He leaves behind a daughter, Kylie, 3 sons, Jake, Aiden, and Cole. And we'd also like to offer a moment of silence for all that have passed away this week,
Okay, thank you.
since our last meeting. Excuse me.
Thank you, Councilor Rourke.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I would also like to ask for a moment of silence in darkened chambers for the family of Mary Ellen Botto, who passed away last Wednesday at the age of 89. She was married to the late Steve Botto, who died in 1995. She was a lifelong Lowell resident. She was the mother and grandmother of a wonderful, well-liked, and strong Lowell family. She was a graduate of Lowell High School in 1994 and had worked for the Electro Circuit Company as an inspector until her retirement in 1991. She was a communicant of the Notre Dame de Lourdes Church of Lowell. She was survived by his son Steve and his wife Colleen, 2 daughters, Ann and her husband Ed, Mary Ellen and her husband Mark, all of Lowell. She also leaves behind 2 sisters, Julia Feely and Patricia Youngblood. Mrs. Botto had 7 grandchildren, Kerry, Steve, Mike, Kimberly, Christopher, Christine, and Caitlin, and also 11 great-grandchildren, Jacob, Lily, Joshua, Natalie, Eric, Jack, Matthew, Abigail, Michael, Mason, and Brewer, as well as many friends, nieces, and nephews. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor. If there's no objection, I just would like to offer my condolences to the family of John Conlon as well. He was he He was a loving father and a very dedicated individual to the community. He was a longtime coach with the Lowell Youth Soccer Association, contributing hundreds and hundreds of hours coaching his children. So I know he will be sorely missed. Can we all please rise for a moment of silence in darkened chambers? May they rest in peace. Moving on to the next item on the agenda, under the city clerk portion of the agenda, the minutes of the city council meeting of May 6th, the minutes from the zoning subcommittee of May 6th, and minutes from the special meeting on May 8th. Motion to accept and place on file by Councilor Rourke, seconded by Councilor Samaras. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item under communication from the city manager, communication summary, and motion responses. Councilor Rourke.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. For you to the city manager. Mr. Manager, thank you for the report on the funding and the resources used for UTEC. I know you had mentioned last week of a possible meeting. Is there any updates you can give the council on that?
Yes, I met with Attorney Kavanaugh and Greg Croto from UTEC, and they explained to me their reason for the behavior that they engaged in. I thought it was a very, very fruitful meeting, and I told them that I would meet with the superintendent of police, discuss what they told me, and then we will work towards resolving the issue and getting back together with all the parties involved.
Thank you.
Thank you for the discussion. Councilor Milanazzo.
Thank you. On that topic, I just want to thank City Manager Murphy for meeting with Mr. Kavanaugh. I think we'd all agree that the relationship with the city and UTEC has been very positive over the years, and I, for one, would like to see that relationship continue and get back on track. So thank you for following up.
Thank you, Councilor. Further discussion on motions? Councilor Leahy?
Thank you. I just wanted to add on the topic of the meeting with UTEC, there was a speaker that wanted to come down tonight, but she was unavailable, so I told them they should probably register with the clerk next week, and she just wanted to come down and speak on this, so she'll probably be here next Tuesday night just to comment on that. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor. Councilor Mercia?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. In response to the motion to honor William J. Sullivan, it's rather quick, and I'm very happy about this, but on Thursday at 1 o'clock will be a dedication with a memorial stone at the corner of Liberty and Hutchinson. Friday. Thank God I can read your lips, Mr. Manager. Friday, you're right. But it'll be 1 o'clock Friday, the dedication. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Councilor. Councilor Samaras?
Yep. I'd just like to speak on the motion regarding UTEC. I just, again, want to thank the city manager for stepping in so quickly to deal with this situation and supporting the chief of police. UTEC has done a great job in this city, but I think it's important that the city manager is able to bring the chief of police together with UTEC, to set up the rules that are necessary to assure that this is a safe city and we can continue to help our youth. I think this was very important. Again, I want to thank the city manager.
Thank you, Council. Further discussion? Motion to accept and place on file by Councilor Kennedy, seconded by Councilor Belanger. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
Mr. Mayor,
I'm sorry, Councilor Martin?
I just, I wanted to just offer a comment on the response to my motion on the flooding on Wentworth Ave. Appreciate the response. Apparently, the main cause of this was beaver dams. I don't think that was a surprise to most members of the council. But one of the recommended courses of action for prevention in the future is there's a water line apparently in the culvert. The suggestion is that be relocated, so I'd expect that at the appropriate time that'll be done. So, so thanks for the response, and just appreciate the follow-up work. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, about that, Council. Any further comments on motion responses to motions?
Mr. Mayor, I'm sorry, wait, one.
Council
I
Rourke?
apologize for the tardiness. To you, to the city manager, with regards to the response for motion A, the clean streets in the downtown on the weekends, I know you had mentioned before, Tuesday through Saturday, is that something that you hope to implement, if not now, sooner?
Yes.
Mr. Manager?
One employee, thank you. One employee will be working the Tuesday through Saturday, and then the other through, well, Monday, yeah, whatever the days are. One will have the split shift from covering Saturday and the other one carrying Sunday. Yeah.
Oh, good,
So
so
it will be covered on the weekend.
Both is terrific.
Right, babe.
Thank you.
Thank you. Council Leahy?
Thank you. I just also wanted to comment on that to the manager that, thank you for that response, and, because that's what people are looking for, clean and safe streets, and to get that shift, that split shift for the weekend was a big thing, so thank you.
Further discussion on motions? We've already accepted them, and we placed them on file. Moving on to the next item. Votes from the city manager. 4.1. It's a vote authorizing the city manager to execute a retaining wall easement to Robert P. Gordon, his successors, and/or signs as owner of the property located at 135 Beacon Street, Lowell, located within the city-owned sidewalk area on 3rd Street and adjacent to the grantee's property in the city of Lowell. Motion to waive the full reading by Council Leahy, seconded by Council Martin. All those in favor signify by saying aye. And the opposed? Motion carries. Second reading by title. Commonwealth of Massachusetts, the City of Lowell, and City Council a vote authorizing the city manager to execute a retaining wall easement to Robert P. Gordon, his successors, and/or assigns as owner of the property located at 135 Beacon Street, Lowell, Mass., located within the city-owned sidewalk area on 3rd Street and adjacent to the grantee's property in the city of Lowell. Move approval by Council Mercia, seconded by Council Leahy. Roll call.
Mayor Elliott.
Yes.
Counsel Kennedy. Yes. Counsel Leahy.
Yes.
Counsel Martin.
Yes.
Counsel Mercia.
Yes.
Counsel Milonazo.
Yes.
Counsel Rourke.
Yes.
Counsel Samaras.
Yes.
Counsel Belanger.
Yes.
That's 9 yeas.
9 yeas. Next item, 4.2, a vote authorizing the city manager to apply, accept, and expend funds from a grant from the Edward Byrne Memorial Justice Assistance Grant, JAG, in the amount of $77,842. Motion to waive the full reading by Council Belanger, seconded by Council Kennedy. All those in favor signify by saying aye. And the opposed? Motion carries. Second reading by title. Commonwealth of Massachusetts, the City of Lowell, in City Council is a vote authorizing the city manager to apply, accept, and expend funds from a grant from the Edward Byrne Memorial Justice Assistance Grant in the amount of $77,842. Move approval by Council Rourke, seconded by Council Samaras. Roll call.
Mayor Elliott.
Yes.
Counsel Kennedy. Yes. Counsel Leahy.
Yes.
Counsel Martin.
Yes.
Counsel Mercia.
Yes.
Counsel Milonazo. Counsel Rourke.
Yes.
Counsel Samaras.
Yes.
Counsel Belanger.
Yes.
8 yeas.
8 yeas, motion carries. Next item, 4.3, is a vote to transfer $136,500.94 to cover retroactive salary payments in accordance with AFSCME 2532 Memorandum of Understanding. Motion to waive the full reading by Council Samaras, seconded by Council Rourke. All those in favor signify by saying aye. And the opposed? Motion carries. Second reading by title. Commonwealth of Massachusetts, City of Lowell, in City Council. A vote. Order to transfer $136,500.94 to cover retroactive salary payments in accordance with AFSCME 2532 Memorandum of Understanding. What is the wish of the body?
Move to approve.
Move approval by Council Martin, second by Council Leahy. Roll call.
Mayor Elliott.
Yes.
Counsel Kennedy. Yes. Counsel Leahy.
Yes.
Counsel Martin.
Yes.
Counsel Mercia. Counsel Milonazo.
Yes.
Counsel Rourke.
Yes.
Counsel Samaras.
Yes.
Counsel Belanger.
Yes.
It's 9 yeas.
9 yeas, motion carries. Next item is a transfer, a vote to transfer $1,703.86 from the Salary Stabilization Fund. Motion to waive the full reading by Council Milonazo, second by Council Rourke. All those in favor signify by saying aye, and the opposed. Motion carries. Second reading by title. Commonwealth of Massachusetts and the City of Lowell in City Council. Vote. Order to transfer $1,703.86 to cover retroactive overtime payments in accordance with AFSCME 2532 Memorandum of Understanding.
Move approval.
Move approval by Council Martin, second by Council Leahy. Roll call.
Mayor Elliott.
Yes.
Counsel Kennedy. Yes. Counsel Leahy.
Yes.
Counsel Martin.
Yes.
Counsel Mercia.
Yes.
Counsel Milonazo.
Yes.
Counsel Rourke.
Yes.
Counsel Samaras.
Yes.
Counsel Belanger.
Yes.
That's 9 yeas.
9 yeas, motion carries. Next section of the agenda, reports, subcommittees. Youth Services Subcommittee, May 13th, 2014, by Chairman Samaras.
Thank you, Mayor. I also want to thank the City Manager, Henry Marchand, for setting up this meeting. Present at the subcommittee was Councilor Mercier, Councilor Rourke, also was attended by Councilor Leahy and Councilor Belanger. I'll tell you, it was really a thrill for us, in a sense, to be there at this meeting. Some of the participants were Peter Fedicati from the Recreation Department, Caitlin Cochran, Chief Taylor, Marianne Bartlett from Lowell Police Department, Carolyn Rochelle from the School Department, Jennifer Demers from the Girls Inc., Kevin Morrissey from YMCA, Leslie Burke, Bridget Quinn from the Career Center, Joe Hunler from the Boys Club, and UTEC. We were just, in a sense, overwhelmed about the number of programs that are going to be available to our youth this summer, the activities and the jobs that will be available. There'll be 15,000 brochures given out to the school department, both public and parochial, that speak to what's going to be offered this summer. The jobs include whether it's swimming at the pool, public pools, the resource officers program at Lowell High School, Taekwondo, tennis lessons, YMCA, Merrimack Repertory Theater, the Career Center, Greater Lowell YMCA, Community Teamwork, Lowell Recreation, Lowell Public Schools, Pollard Memorial Library, Lowell Housing, Lowell Boys and Girls Club, Merrimack Valley Food Bank, Lowell Summer Music Series. It just goes on and on. It shows that what's available to our youth. And if we want our city streets to be safe, we have to ensure that our youth have jobs and that they have activities to attend. And the work that the people put in was really eye-opening. Their enthusiasm, Mr. Mayor, was captivating, actually. I mean, it got us, really got us excited about this summer, and we think this will be probably one of the best summers that we've had. And I just want to thank everybody who took part in tonight's program, because they made an excellent presentation, and we know the product that they're talking about is going to be worthwhile. I don't know if Councilor Mercier or Councilor Rourke has.
Council Mercier? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This was a very productive meeting, and I thank the Chairman Samaras for putting this together along with everybody. When you talk about partnerships, school doesn't just end and that's the end of it. We roll in the carpet and that's the end of it. That is a very crucial time in the year for our youth, because idle hands is the devil's workshop, and not in this city. We try to create so many activities for our children. Not only that, while they're having fun, they're getting an education. We're offering food. There's food. So many people take part in this. and I'm very impressed with the police department. Not only did we say to Superintendent Taylor, please have the community policing step on board and walk in the neighborhoods and things, but they are going to actually be patrolling and taking part in the parks this summer, where 11 schools will be participating in the respective police that are in the different neighborhoods. And if you see the map, not one area is left out, and they are going to intertwine and intermingle with the youth of our city to set an example that says, just because we wear a uniform and people say, oh, the police are going to get you, we have a good rapport where the police are going to be viewed as fathers and uncles and aunts and mothers, and they're going to be the regular people that are going to be having a good rapport with our youth. This is going to be a tremendous opportunity this summer. It's better than last year. We've learned so much. It should be online. Parents will have an opportunity to have a safe, and it's all about safety for our children, and going into their mind and letting them know that you're going to get help and an education in public safety, that we don't just say, summer is here, not everybody can take their family and go to the beach or to the mountains or away to Disney World, but you will have an opportunity here for your children to learn how to swim, to have a good meal. So this was a very productive opportunity, and there's a lot to like about Lowell, and it doesn't stop in the summer. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Councilor. Councilor Rourke?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Echoing Councilor Mercer's statements, thank you to Councilor Samaras. It was a terrific and well-informed meeting. What I took out of it was the opportunity and the variety at little or no cost to Lowell parents and children. And the police department being involved in all aspects of summer camps and programming, which, as Councilor Mercer had said, leads to an all-around better public safety. Also, as far as knowing what's out there and what's available, they did state that it's on the city's website, it's in the newspaper, and they also will be sending flyers out to all the schools in the city of what's available for our youth. So thank you.
Thank you, Council. Further discussion? Councilor Leahy?
Just briefly, you can't say it enough. It was a well-run meeting. The opportunities that are out there for the youth for the summer, and as Councilor Mercia said, you know, when school stops, the school department's back into it, the girls' Inc., the Y, the boys' club, the job opportunities for the kids. So, I mean, it was very good, informative meeting, and there's a lot out there for the youth. So hopefully we'll get you know, everybody involved. They can't really say that there's nothing to do. So there's a lot to do over the summer. Thank you.
Thank you, Council. Yeah, I agree. I just would like to let the folks at home know, please go to the website, please sign up. The programs are very well run. They're structured. There are things for the kids to do all day. Parents have to sign in, they have to sign out, so it's not just drop off. It's very well run. So I think that's the biggest thing that we're trying to do is get the message out to the parents that there are structured programs available at most of the city parks. So I just wanted to add that. Motion to accept the report as a report of progress by Councilor Milonazo, second by Councilor Kennedy. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. The report is placed on file. Next item is 5.2, wire inspector. National Grid, Verizon, NE pole location at 16 Maud Street. Department of Public Works, Division of Streets and Highways, and Superintendent of Wires, National Grid and Verizon New England, Maud Street. Job stub pole 2-1, location approx as shown on plan. Motion to accept and adopt the recommendation of the wire inspector by Council Mercia, seconded by Council Martin. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item is 6.1. There's a claim, one claim for property damage. Motion to refer to the Law Department for report and recommendation by Council Kennedy, seconded by Council Belanger. All those in favor signify by saying aye. And the opposed, motion carries. Next section, under petitions, we have miscellaneous. Christopher Caravan and Alexa Queenan request permission to address the council regarding building located at 16 Hampshire Street.
Good evening, City Council, Mr. Mayor. My name is Chris Caravan. I'm a Centerville resident. I'm here to address 16 Hampshire Street. It is a city-owned building that has been abandoned for about 33 years. Last time there was a study done on it was 1981. I've been trying to promote some awareness of this building to try to have something done. It is currently boarded up and is slowly deteriorating. Doing some research on this building, I have found it is a historic building built in 1870 designed by Henry Morris, and it did contain a water pump, and at the time, it was the second biggest in the U.S. next to Philadelphia's. We're hoping that this building can be saved, and some of the great programming I heard you guys talk about, we're interested in trying to bring some of this to Centerville, and we first would like to see if City Council would do a feasibility study to see what can be done with this building.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thanks, sir.
Council Mercia?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I remember some years ago, the city council at the time, and please know I was here for a very long time, so I know that I'm going back, I don't know, I want to say maybe 15 years ago, and they were looking to purchase a piece of equipment out of that building. They wanted it for I believe it was the Parks Department at the time. So I went over to Hampshire Street to find out a little bit more about it and what was this type of a John Deere equipment. I was so unfamiliar with equipment that I called it John Deere equipment. It was John Deere equipment, but I wanted to find out what was happening. And I went into that building, and they were taking a break at that time. It was their afternoon break. And when I went in there, it was dark and dingy. And as they were eating their snacks, the roof was leaking right on the table where they were eating. It was just, I almost fell through the floor. It was a place where I wouldn't want my worst enemy to be working there. It was just, I filed the motion the following Tuesday to have the city of Lowell condemn the building. That's how bad it was. And slowly thereafter, there was some appropriation to get them on Stedman Street, and they closed that building down. To tell you the truth, wouldn't we love to save that building and have it a youth recreation place for the Centerville area? But to tell you the truth, and I know they put the word historic, so it kind of stops you from tearing something down, and I'll take you over to the Butler School, where that school should have been torn down. It was dilapidated and falling apart, but because it was the city and we owned it, we could not do it. But it was all right that we sold it to someone and they were able to do it. Having said that, is this what the situation is on Hampshire Street, whereby the city will not be allowed to demolish it? To tell you the truth, it should be demolished. Hazmat could go over there and discover that it's full of asbestos. The garage area once housed oil and gas. That has seeped through the land. Too bad we couldn't demolish it and have open space with more recreation, have a certain portion set aside for a passive park. So many possibilities are available there. I bet if we had a feasibility study to see how much would it cost for the city to repair it, we could never, ever afford it. It would be cheaper to tear it down and rebuild. And I'm not saying that you're not right when you stand there and say, for 33 years it's been dilapidated. It isn't deteriorating, it is deteriorated to the point where it's almost impossible to fix. It is an eyesore in the neighborhood, and there's so many possibilities that could be happening if that building wasn't there. So I know the frustration of the people in Centerville to have to look at that building. There's nothing we could do to put in other offices or whatever there, or to even refurbish it to allow Centerville's youth, I wouldn't put a child in that building, and I don't know how much it would cost, but it is worth mentioning that if we could take a look at it and see if there's a possibility, A, we could tear it down, put in more things to the park area, expand it, open space, green space, more recreation opportunities, but to say that we should just take another 33 years and do nothing would be wrong. It's wrong. Something should be addressed there. Either take it down or do something or whatever. So the gentleman has every right to come to the podium and say that. So if we could listen to what he said and please refer it to the city manager and just put it on his shoulders again with everything else, but thank you.
I just believe if it hasn't been torn down in 33 years, it's not going to be torn down. There's something about that building that's keeping it standing. And I just believe we're doing historical grants, that maybe we can get the building restored, and then possible block grants to apply some kind of programming through there. I do believe a lot of what you say about the condition of the building,
It's true.
but it has been a long time, and we would like to see something happen. So
Something
thank
should
you.
happen, yes, thank you.
Thank you, Counselor. Counselor Kennedy?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I agree with Councilor Mercier. I think it seems like if we haven't looked at the building or done an assessment since 1981, that probably the first step is to do something like that. And maybe concurrently with doing that assessment, we could ask the Division of Planning and Development if they could identify any grant monies that might be available for the restoration of that building. And if, maybe, Mr. Manager, we could get a report on that in a few weeks' time. And that's at least the first step, and then just take it from there. It could be that the building is so bad that it's not worth restoring, but it's certainly at least worth a look.
Thank you, Counsel. Counsel Belanger?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I share the same frustration as my colleagues, as the neighborhood. This has gone on far too long. I don't understand how it's been able to sit like this long without any attention given to it. But nonetheless, let's look forward at this point and send it back to the manager and let's see if it's, for starters, worthwhile rehabilitating. Is it cost prohibitive, even with grant money and whatever might be out there? I'm thinking probably not, and as Councilor Mercier stated it. But let's get the neighborhood involved too. CNAG, that's a very involved neighborhood group. Ms. Page is here this evening, and they're very involved, and I'm sure they'd love to chime in on this. They know this neighborhood better than us, quite frankly. So let's get their involvement, see what they would like to see there. But I'm thinking that this building would probably not be fit for restoration. But again, I'm no engineer by no stretch. So, but I do know we need to do something here immediately. So I'd just like to refer it back to the manager as agree with my colleagues. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Counsel. For discussion? Anyone else want to speak on this issue? Ms. Page?
My name is Anne Marie Page, and I reside at 26 Fremont Street in Lowell. I sit on the board of CNAG. I do not speak for CNAG tonight. I speak for myself personally, and I agree with everything that Councilor Mercier said. We have gone after this building again and again and again. And the only thing that's holding that building up is the hand of God. The minute he lets go, it's coming down, and I wish he'd let go real soon. Because right next to it, there's this park in the front, which is well taken care of by Mr. Belguy and his staff, and little children play. Right behind it, there is a basketball court. I travel through that Snake West 6th Street Road several times a week. And I've gone by, and that little basketball court, I don't know how big basketball courts are, but it's not as big as your room, had 20 children playing in it. 10 on this basket, 10 on that basket. And when Mr. Caravan came to our meeting to present what he thought was a very good idea, and it probably is a very good idea if we had a big bag of money, or if the government gave us a big bag of money. But when we looked at that building about 15 years ago, that's what it needed, a very big bag of money. And if we do make a community center, we have to always take into consideration while we're looking at the money, who's going to heat it, who's going to light it, who's going to clean it, and who's going to maintain it. So I asked Mr. Caravan if he asked some of the neighbors around there what did they think. And he said to us what we already knew, those children want another basketball court because they don't really all fit in this one. So then there'd be 2 basketball courts and the playground. And if you drive down West 6th Street on a Saturday or a Sunday, it's full. So it's a lot of money, and I appreciate Mr. Caravan looking into it because it was a magnificent building in its day. But it's in real tough shape. And if you're going to do something with the building rather than take it down, you're going to need a very big bag of money. Maybe you could bring this to the neighborhood subcommittee and other people could mention what they were thinking. I thank you kindly.
Thank you, Ms. Page. Anyone else wishing to speak on this petition? Council Kennedy?
Yeah, I'll just make that in a form of a motion, if there's no objection, just to send it, refer to the city manager for a report and recommendation, both on the state of the building and also whether or not there is any money that would be available in the near future for restoration.
Motion by Council Kennedy, seconded by Council Mercia, to refer this motion to the city manager for a report and recommendation on both condition of the building and any funding available. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Council Leahy?
Just also, the recommendation would have like a future use of the property also, right? In your motion?
Well, the motion was report on the condition of the building. We will include potential reuse of the building. Is that okay, Mr. Manager? Okay. Motion passed. Thank you. Moving on to the next item on the agenda, 6.3. Under miscellaneous, Avelia Ramirez requests 1 handicap parking sign at 325 Moody Street. Motion to refer to the traffic engineer for report and recommendation by Council Milonazo, second by Council Samaras. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Another miscellaneous item under petitions. Luz Gonzalez requests to move 1 handicap parking sign from 45 Stevens Street to 37 Alder Street. Motion to refer to the traffic engineer for report and recommendation by Councilor Mercia, seconded by Councilor Rourke. Councilor Mercia.
Yes, I'm sorry. I should have requested that Ms. Ramirez, that be a 60-day trial.
Okay.
And I don't know if you need a 60-day trial to move 1 handicap sign from one place to another, but that should be done rather expeditiously if we could do that as well. I don't know if that needs a 60-day trial as well, but it'd be, not that I'm trying to tell him to hurry up, but if that were me, and he already has they already have a sign, so
Okay.
if we could just move it.
Madam Solicitor, does do both of these, well, does item number 2 under 6.3, does that require, or is there a, can we make that a 60-day trial?
In order to keep track of it and make it clean, I would make it first part of a 60-day trial.
Okay. Motion to amend to make that a 60-day trial by Council Mercia, seconded by Council Rourke. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. If there's no objection, this motion to reconsider the prior handicap parking sign in order to amend that. Right, Mr. Clerk?
Yes.
Motion to reconsider by Council Rourke, seconded by Council Milonazo. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Miscellaneous item. Avelia Ramirez requests 1 handicap parking sign at 325 Moody Street. Motion to amend by Council Mercia to make this a 60-day trial. Seconded by Council Milonazo. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Motion as amended carries. Moving on to the next item of the agenda, City Council motions. First motion of the evening by Councilor Mercia. Request City Manager provide a report outlining and explaining the reasoning between estimated water readings versus actual readings and justify exorbitant water bills. month and years later on estimated readings. Seconded by Council Belanger. Council Mercia?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Imagine, if you will, that you purchase your first home in the city of Lowell, and the year is 2005. You are told what the costs are to maintain this particular home, and you are aware of the money needed each month. You are told that the quarterly bill runs between $138 and $140. Now I take you to the other day, May of 2014, 9 years later, and your quarterly bill comes in, and it is not your average $138 or $140 that you are accustomed to pay quarterly, but it is $8,900. And the reason for this is that it was an estimated bill all those years, and the city underestimated the charges, but you have to pay the difference of all those 9 years. Well, let me tell you this. I receive a quarterly bill also in March, June, September, and December. I receive it and I pay it. I never look to see if it's an actual reading or an estimated reading. I never look at that. I only look to see, is it about the same as I paid the last quarter? If it isn't, I would check to see if there were any leaks. It could be possible that it has happened. I know that my water bill is more expensive in the summer because I tend to fill the water in the pool. The sun evaporates it. One time I had a leak in the liner, so I can understand that. So you send me the bill and I pay it. If I ever got a bill for even $800, never mind $8,000, I think I would just collapse. But I am hearing more of these horror stories. Why would the city wait so long to keep estimating this person's bill? Why are the bill estimates and some actual? So I don't know how often I could imagine that maybe I'd get an estimated bill one time out of the quarter, and then maybe the following 3 months later I would pay a little bit more or whatever to make up for whatever they estimated was low or whatever. But I don't know. Do we not have enough help in the city that we can't get an actual reading? What is the deal with that? I really don't know what it is. Why is this homeowner to blame for a slip-up that the city created in the first place? How are we going to correct this dilemma? What are we going to do for this person? This person is in this City Hall chambers, doesn't want to speak on it, but I'm very outraged to hear that it waited so long, the city waited so long to spring this on the person. I don't know how fair this is. I can understand that you can't have an actual reading on every single house, on every single piece of property, and sometimes they're estimated. That's fine. But to wait all these years and then hit someone with this bill like this, surprised they didn't create another bill for a heart attack, because I think that's what I would have got if I would have read something so outrageous. I know this person went before the water board. I don't know what the outcome is. I don't know if I had a right to be there. But I just want you to know that something like this doesn't sound right to me. It's not fair to a person. What culpability does the city have in this responsibility to wait all this time? I am making this motion through you, Mr. Mayor, to the city manager to please look into this matter to see why is this happening to people. I can understand that, we underestimated the end of the year. We did an estimate all year, and we should have did an actual reading. We didn't. You underpaid. You owe maybe $50 more at the end of this fiscal year or whatever, but this is outrageous to be almost $9,000. I can't accept that. That's not right. Something's not right here.
Mr. Manager?
Could you just provide us with the name and address
I
after the
will.
meeting so that we
I
can
will.
look into the specific?
Yes, I will. Thank you.
Council Belanger?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, to the manager. Mr. Manager, are we in the process of converting to water meters that are digital? They can be read from the street without going in the property? Am I under that understanding?
Yes, exactly. That project will be starting soon.
Okay, so there'll be less and less estimated, and there'll be more actual readings, which will help this problem, correct?
Because they won't have to need access to the
Correct.
premises. to read
That's
the
part of the problem here. I'm not saying this is the case with Councilor Mercier's constituent, but, okay, that's great news. Thank you, Mr. Manager.
Councilor Mercia?
I'm sorry if I forgot to add this. I did deal with someone a couple of years ago, and this can happen, I understand that, where the couple was closing up their property and they were getting ready to go to Florida for 3 months. And before they left, they flushed the toilet and somehow it didn't click right and it just kept running. They went to Florida, 3 months went by and they came back and got their next bill and it was astronomical. I can understand that. I asked the person, did you have a leak or did anything like this happen? You have pipes that something's leaking somewhere. She had someone come in and take a look through the whole house. There are no leaks in that house. There's nothing that's draining constantly. There's nothing happening there like that. So, I mean, I could see that could possibly be a problem. This is not the case here, so I don't know what it is. The meter was checked. The meter was actually right. There's nothing wrong with the water meter either, so I don't know what the situation is.
Mr. Manager, my understanding is a new system or process implemented for these water bills up there.
I'm not sure, but I'll definitely look into it and find out what the issue is
Okay.
relating to that or any other bills that I'm going to ask them for any other high bills that they've generated in recent time.
Okay. All those in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye. And the opposed, motion carries. Next motion of the evening by Councilor Mercia. City manager find ways and means of purchasing and/or providing a mulch blower for the city, specifically the Parks Department. Second by Councilor Rourke. Councilor Mercia?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We make motions in response to our constituents' requests or suggestions, and the same is true with respect to this motion. This motion comes about mainly because I like to talk to people. This motion comes about at the request of a person who is not only a constituent, but happens to be a city employee. From time to time, I like to check with people that work for the city to see how everything is, how can we help them, just to hear what their thoughts are. I learned that staffing in the city is very low in a few departments. There is a 29% reduction in the DPW department in the past 5 years. We can probably accept that, but to compensate for the reduction and help, we can and should make the workload easier. I understand the commitment expressed by Manager Murphy to carefully scrutinize all expenditures, requests for necessity rather than convenience, but if you, Mr. Manager, minimize the workload by providing the proper tools, this in itself would be just the formula to lighten the workload and be equal to the necessity that you talked about. So let me explain and justify that a little bit further. Let me take you back to the winter when we learned that we had previously purchased a spreader salter for the city trucks, that the cost was sufficient, but the savings over the years was not only sufficient, but a cost-saving measure. The sand spreader stops spreading once the truck stops, thus saving money. At one point, the trucks would go to a light, and if they didn't press the button and forgot, it would just continue to spit out the sand and the salt. It didn't used to do that, but thus wasting money and salt. So the salt spreader can be programmed to put the right amount of salt on the ground that complements the need and not waste a large amount, thus allowing the right formula to take place, again saving money. We must spend money to make money, and this is another instance that it does that. And in the long run, it balances out that we've saved a substantial amount, which leads to the point of my motion. which is to request the city manager to try to find ways and means to purchase and/or provide a mulch blower for the city, specifically the Parks Department. This tool will help the parks and cemetery crew better prepare for Memorial Day to put the right amount of mulch down and use less material, as well as provide the much-needed tool that will lighten the workload. In the end, we will spend money to save money in the end. This is a much-needed piece of equipment. So they need that, and I think it would be sufficient and adequate to see how it just puts the right amount of, and saves a lot of work. So although we have cut down on the workload and the employees, this will help the people we have there to do a better job and save money in the long run. So I think this is not frivolous. This is something they need, and I'm bringing their message. I'm not negotiating their contract, thank God, but I'm bringing an idea that they had to help them. Thank you.
Thank you, Counselor. Further discussion on the motion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Next motion of the evening by Councilor Kennedy. Request city manager provide a report on the status and occupancy of all mill properties and other industrial properties outside of the national park. Second by Councilor Leahy. Councilor Kennedy?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Through you to the city manager. Mr. Manager, this motion was brought to my attention by somebody a couple of weeks ago, and the building that they had in mind was the building on, there's a mill building on Lawrence Street in the vicinity of Andrew Street, I believe, that would be outside of the national park, but it would be a mill property, and there's probably others like that. I think another building that comes to mind is what is the current status of the Prince Macaroni building. But those buildings, it would just be good to know what the status is, what the occupancy is, or whether there is any occupancy. And a report like that, I think, would be helpful going forward.
Thank you, Councilor. Further discussion on the motion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Next motion of the evening by Councilor Martin. Request City Council appoint Professor Wael Kamal to the Board of Directors of Lowell Telecommunications Corporation. Seconded by Councilor Leahy. Councilor Martin?
Thank you. In my capacity as chairman of the Telecommunications Subcommittee, I serve as a council representative on the Lowell Telecommunications Corporation, or LTC as it's commonly known, board. The council makes other appointments to that board. We voted on a number of them in November. Usually that's around the time when the terms expire. We had voted recently, I think, to appoint Mr. McDonough. The council really doesn't have many other appointments. I think we may appoint to the Hunger Homeless Commission, or are entitled to, but I don't know that for certain. I do know we have to make appointments to this board, and it is challenging at times to find people who are willing to serve, or people sometimes volunteer to serve and then never show up. So the approach we've adopted the last few years is to have major institutions in the city be represented as the council employees, and included in that was a representative from UMass Lowell. We had voted in the past to appoint Paul Marion to the LTC board. He contacted me and indicated his duties at the university were increasing and he would no longer be able to serve on the board. He suggested Professor Kamal. He's a professor at UMass Lowell, and this is somewhat of an expert in this field, and he is excited, I think, to join the board. I had asked the clerk to include a copy of his resume in the council packet this week. He has met with a few members of at least the LTC staff, and they seem eager to get a board member who's excited and willing to serve on board. So that is the suggestion from the university, and that's why I brought his name forward.
Thank you, Councilor. Councilor Belanger?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I think it's a good motion by Councilor Martin. This individual's resume is just unbelievable, to say the least. It's very, very impressive. This man is overqualified, if anything. So I support the motion, and it's a good piece of talent recruiting by Councilor Martin. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Councilor. Further discussion? We're just checking with the solicitor. Does not require a formal vote being drawn up for the law department, so we'll just go for the vote on a roll call. Motion has been made and seconded. Roll call.
Mayor Elliott.
Yes.
Counsel Kennedy.
Yes.
Counsel Leahy.
Yes.
Counsel Martin.
Yes.
Counsel Mercia.
Yes.
Counsel Milonazo.
Yes.
Counsel Rourke.
Yes.
Counsel Samaras.
Yes.
Counsel Belanger.
Yes.
9 yeas.
9 yeas, motion carries. Next item, 7.5, Council Martin. Request city manager have the proper department provide an update on the construction projects at Sun Apartment and Father John's Medicine buildings. Seconded by Council Lee. Council Martin?
Thank you. I know I've filed similar motions in the past. I know other councilors have as well. And I did speak with Connor Baldwin, I think, Mr. Manager, about this motion. When we had reports previously, it was always that the building owner was awaiting financing to undertake the major renovations that needed to be taken, at least with respect to the Sun building. And they were trying to package this with other properties they may own, and so I think that may be the reason for the recent work on the Father John's Medicine building. So at least it appears that these are the extensive renovations that we've been waiting for, that have been in the past just temporary fixes until the financing was in place to do the major work. So I'm just asking if, in fact, that is the case, that the financing is in place. This is the repair project that we've been waiting for, and just what the time frame is, if in fact that's the case, and whether these are related or not. They appear to be, but maybe they're just coincidental. So really just to, hopefully this would be the final motion that we have to bring back on this, but just looking for a time frame on when we might expect to see completion.
Thank you, Council. Further discussion on the motion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. And the opposed? Motion carries. Next motion of the evening, Council Belanger. Request city manager have proper department review the need for a crosswalk from Cardinal O'Connell Parkway over Market Street to the city employee parking lot. Seconded by Councilor Kennedy. Council Belanger?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This has been brought to my attention by a few employees right here at City Hall that, you know, when they head back to and from their vehicles, as they walk down Cardinal O'Connell Parkway, there's the restaurant, their friends, and they cross the street. It's very, very sketchy because there's a stop sign that's far before where they cross, and they tend to accelerate and then have to screech on the brakes while they're crossing the street. And there's been a few close calls from what I understand. So let's try and avoid anything. That's the awareness is what we're all about. So if we can get the proper department over there and maybe explore the option of a crosswalk there, I think would help alleviate this. That'd be great. But for our employees that work hard for us every day, thank you very much.
Thank you, Councilor. Further discussion on the motion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. And the opposed? Motion carries. Having no further business before the council? Oh, thank you. Just briefly on the auditor, I've reached out to the last candidate as well as Mary Callery, and there is an interview. We were able to reach him, and he is available for Thursday at 5 p.m. The clerk did post the notice, so we'll interview the last candidate this Thursday. Council Rourke?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So are we still scheduled to vote on the auditor for next Tuesday's meeting?
We'll have to take a vote on that.
Yeah, we had it scheduled for tonight, Mr. Manager. Mr. Mayor, excuse me, yeah.
So, do we want to motion to suspend the rules to place that item on the agenda for Tuesday night? Motion to suspend by Councilor Martin, second by Councilor Leahy. All those in favor signify by saying aye. And the opposed? Motion carries. Councilor Rourke?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. As for a motion to vote on the auditor for next Tuesday's meeting.
Motion to place an agenda item on next week's city council meeting to take a vote on the auditor. Second by Counsel Kennedy. Counsel Kennedy, just a second. Counsel Samaras, just a second on the motion. All those in favor signify by saying aye. And the opposed? Motion carries. Mr. Clerk, we can place that item on the agenda.
Absolutely.
Motion to adjourn by Counsel Kennedy, seconded by Counsel Belanger. All those in favor signify by saying aye. And the opposed? Motion carries. The meeting stand adjourned. Have a good evening.